Good morning. It's October 16th, 2025, our special board meeting agenda. I would like to call this meeting to order. Will we all stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. I'd like to welcome public and guests. Anybody got any public comment? I see none. Just as we're going through this budget, if anybody has a question, feel free to ask. So a discussion on the District 2026 tentative budget. Approval Resolution 2025-08 adopts of the District tentative 2026 budget.
Mr. Chair,
Yes.
do you want to announce who's here and attending the meeting?
Oh, yes, I need to. Hello. Okay, going off to our right side, we got Trevor Andre, our district engineer, Dallas Henline, our wastewater manager. Chris Thompson is filling in for Steve Clark as the water manager. Andrew Sumption, our HR. Jeff White, trustee. Mick Sudbury, trustee. Danny Stewart, trustee. Clint Dilley is our general manager, and Leal Fitzgerald is our controller.
Thank you.
Thank you, appreciate that. So just to give a heads up, our next board meeting will be November 13th, 2025. So item G, I'd like to move this meeting from open. I'm sorry. So how do I go about this now? So we need to open this, no?
So this is just a discussion on our tentative budget. So we'll go back up to letter E.
Oh, I missed that one. Okay, here we go.
Okay. At our last board meeting, we presented, we tabled the tentative budget to today. So,
Okay.
We'll discuss it as per E, and then we'll adopt it.
Yes.
Yeah.
See, and I was already gonna move us into close.
sounded good to me.
Yeah, let's go.
I can give you
Yes.
kind of some context. So as we discussed, we've had quite a challenge with the number of projects that we feel need to be completed in the district with the number or with the available resources. This was identified in the 2020 master plan. One of the suggestions at that time was for the district to plan on bonding to be able to complete some of the bigger projects. We've been able to get by without bonding so far, but it continues to get more and more challenging the further off we go with the amount of significant projects that we have to do. This budget doesn't reflect any bonding in next year, so the earliest we're saying that the district would consider bonding would be in the following year if the board is open to it at that time. We've been able to work this budget without any bond in it. The downside to that is, as you know, in years past, we've had quite a bit of impact fees that have been coming in from all of the development, and we were able to build up our financial reserves pretty significantly over that time period and still accomplish several of the projects. We have collected fewer impact fees the past 2 years, and so impact fee revenue is less available than it was in years past, and we have dipped into reserves quite a bit the past couple years. And so one of the assumptions in this budget before we get going is that we would continue to take some money from reserves, but we would not go below the restricted minimum. And so that's one of the things we have to talk about. Again, this is tentative, and this is our first attempt at this for the board to consider and give us feedback. If you want to go a different direction, obviously we can.
So I got a question. You know how I am about reserves, right?
Yeah,
I don't
yeah.
like taking money out of reserves. The question I have, if we were to develop that piece of land that we have, I mean, for us, I mean, just what we need, the 6 acres, is it 6 or 7? I'm not sure what we were thinking for a reservoir.
For us, it would be around 6.
6.
We've
If
we've
we-
looked at it and we think we can get a little bit smaller piece, so we can sell a little bit more.
Okay, so, but again, if we sell that land, you know, I have 2 questions, and this is just a long-term out, and you guys can think of it as, we could sell it off, right? But how about down the road, 20 years from now, would you need that land for more, for
Possibly.
reservoir, future growth? But I don't want to, because we build this reserve up for a long time, and I know that's what it's there for, but I don't want to use it where we're going to get in a crunch time where we really need it, can't use it. Does that make sense? And I know that would probably never happen, but the way the world is right now, it's unknown. But, I have mixed emotions about that land. One minute I say, yes, I'd like it to sell it because I'd like a 55 plus and I'd like to live there. But unfortunately, I understand the district needs to get what they need to get. But then in the long run, 20 years from now, is it something you're going to look back and say, oh, we should have just kept that land because we could use it since it's attached right next, right where we're at? I mean, I don't know what the trustees, how you guys feel about that.
I think we should propose that. We have a planning committee that's forecasting, and I think that should come up in our 2060, 2040 discussions.
Yeah,
don't you
we can. I think that's a good approach. I can tell you that I don't think from I don't think we've ever said, hey, we shouldn't have bought as much property. From all the discussions I've had over the years with employees and managers and trustees, I don't think there's been a situation where we said, well, we don't need.
Well, because they
Or
don't
we
make no
bought-
more land, right?
Exactly. And so in this particular case, I think it's just one of the options that the board has available to it. I do think we can get by with a smaller piece, but I do think 20 years from now, we probably could also at the same time say, hey, I'm glad we held on to that piece. So
Because I know the city wanted, well, I'm lying to you, I'm gonna step out of the box. I know the city's hit me up about a road going through there, and,
and that's maybe something we could do, just a road, but we keep the rest,
we could regain some of that
We
money,
could
but
possibly get some.
are we in a bind where we need to sell that?
This budget does not reflect a sale of that, no.
Yeah.
Okay, I just wanna make sure because and that's just a thought, because like I said, I would build these reserves up for,
The other 2 thoughts we've discussed as a team is Trevor attended a meeting was it Tuesday night?
Yeah.
And it's for the new way that they're gonna fund infrastructure in the state. The legislature has said, hey, rather than the old way, we want it all consolidated in one fund for all of the projects, rather than having the Division of Drinking Water do it, rural water do it, water quality do it. It's all going into one prioritization, and we've submitted projects to that.
Is that better for us?
I think, we don't know yet,
Yeah, we're not.
but that's a potential source of money that we don't have, and Trevor said that would be decided and ranked in March. We won't know how we did,
Yep.
but if we do get some money, it's probably a mix of loans and grants
Oh, good.
Correct.
that we wouldn't have to bond for.
It's pushed us light years ahead so far.
Yeah, so that's something also to consider.
And the other advantage, if we have to go for a bond next year, interest rates should be down lower.
Yeah,
That would
hopefully.
be a real big advantage.
Yeah.
So,
I think it's been good. I think the other thing I'll say is that we've discussed with the trend in the reserves, we feel like management should come to the board with an update on the reserves throughout this next year on any project approval, we would give you an update on the impact of status of the reserves with that, so that that's constantly a front of mind, so you guys can make, we don't, just because we budget for the projects, don't mean we have to do them.
We understand.
We can make that decision as we feel comfortable with the reserves at that time, so.
Okay, I mean, yeah, that's just, like I said, I'm just kind of, I like to protect them with reserves.
Yeah.
What is our status on the reserves right now? I didn't even,
We are at, as of the end of September, at 25 total, and 14 is restricted.
14's restricted, so.
So
we have
11 is available.
11 million that we could play with, but the bad thing about when you take 11 million, let's just say we took, which, I'm just throwing this out there, and then we've just got that that left over, then we can't touch it, so it's like we really don't have any money.
Well, you can touch it, but it does have to meet
But
certain
it does, it
criteria.
has to meet, but
Yeah.
then it takes our
Yeah,
our credit rating,
Yes,
right?
it affects it.
It affects that, and I don't want that to affect.
I agree.
And at what point Moody's would, they did like to see the reserves that we had, but we don't know at what breaking point that would change. We
So
don't
we've
know how
take-
low the reserves would have to be for our bond rating to change.
We've taken close to $8 million out, right?
We've taken 4.
yeah.
Okay, why am I thinking 8? Okay,
Well,
no,
at the end of year, that's a lie, sorry.
yeah, because I was thinking about
Because the
our,
property was
yeah,
12,
yeah.
and then we've taken another 4
Oh, okay, yeah,
Yeah.
okay,
since like October of last year.
okay. So that kind of scares me, but okay.
Yeah. Our last master plan did call for us to reduce the reserves, and we have. So, and I think that's good in the eyes of the public, because they can see we're not just stashing cash
No, and I
and then
under-
raising rates.
I understand that.
so-
Of course, we're not, just to show the public, we're not just going out and just
Willy-nilly.
willy-nilly, and just spending the money, but, okay, I'm fine with that. I'm just very protective of that.
Yeah, you and me both.
Yeah, and we can note that in the, meeting minutes. We'll
Yeah,
make sure that we document that. But with that context, I think if it's okay, Mr. Chairman, we'll have Liel give an
Oh, absolutely. No, you're
overview
good. That's
of the
fine.
budget, and then we'll talk into more of the projects and the decision-making on that side, so.
So for the purpose of this tentative budget, obviously, is for the district to get our tentative budget in. And like Clint said, this budget is showing 11 million out of reserves, but it's the budget. We don't necessarily have to do the projects, and it's just for us to get a tentative and a final budget in.
Leah, will you make sure that I know which page you're speaking to?
Yeah, so I'm gonna kind of jump around, and I apologize. We tried to get it in order in the packet, but it just isn't all the way in order. So if you'll go to the actual budget, the page 2 of 25,
Geez, if it got any smaller,
I think it's down
No,
in the
I just-
right-hand corner. I didn't know how it came out printed, but it says, capital sources and outlays summary. So this is a huge summary of basically where we think we're going to get our money from and what we're spending it on. So the 2 million, the 2.9 million, the top line, that's the estimated income that we think that we'll have at the end of 26, after O&M, wages, power, all that. Our sources would be from that and a conservation grant from Jordan Valley Water of 40,000. And then the lead and copper loan and loan forgiveness that we're getting is 4 million. And then we have an EPA block grant coming for our Haynes number 8 project of 1.3. And then the impact fees that we can use of the restricted reserve is 6.4. That 6.4 is related to projects that we have committed today and new projects we're proposing on this budget.
Yeah.
And then to balance it out, assuming we would take 11 million out of reserves. So that leaves our sources of 25,912,017. And then down below is basically, we've already committed meaning that we've signed task orders, we've signed construction projects. These are committed projects that we will have to pay for, is 12 million. And then the proposed for 2026 is 13.8. That balances our budget to 0. So, I don't know how detailed you want to be getting into. The next page is just a chart showing those sources. The majority obviously is being seen from reserves. And then the,
Gives you a helpful visual
yeah.
aid.
And then page 4, the budget, that is again a total, but it gives you a little more detail of our operating revenue and expenses. It also has the property tax in there.
See, that's where I get beat up a lot on is the property tax.
Thank you.
You know, with all the districts, you know, with the city, you turn around and our taxes are way high because of all the districts that are taxing, you know, our taxing agency for the city.
And yeah, I know I'm a taxpayer, but
Right.
the percentage of our tax is so low compared to, say, the school boards.
Oh, yeah.
Or the schools.
District.
And I understand everything adds up and it's hard on the residences, but the maximum, of course, you know, is 0.0008. And I'm really surprised at our rate for the O&M. It has not even reached half of that yet, so it's not 0.004. I'm surprised because for a while there, I would have thought that we'd be way low because we haven't.
Mayor, can you hear her okay? Okay, I just want to make sure.
Thank you. So our tax rate is and I apologize, I'm going from memory, it's 0.0514 or something like that. So that's what it was for 25.
Okay.
And just a reminder, we haven't raised that since 2018, despite there's been some rumors out there. But the Magna Water District has not raised taxes since.
Well, we remember 2018
Yep.
very well.
Yeah, I'm sure
don't
you
we?
guys know that.
Yes, yes. In fact, it's kind of funny because I get all these stuff.
$4.30.
I get all these emails sent over to me, so I have to send them over to Clint to verify it, and then I send back to the people that have complaints.
Yep.
And we do have a bond dropping off of that in 2029. We are levying 26 for 27 payments, so they really only have 2 more years for that bond.
And we don't have anything, we would have had to advertise this year to do something next
Next
year.
year.
So we're not proposing anything next year.
Yeah.
We might want to consider something next year for the following year.
27,
Okay.
yeah.
But that'll be a decision we'll make later.
Just a bit of information, if we did go up to maximum for O&M, I believe it would bring in 600,000 of additional revenue for us, so. So the total revenues in our operating is 20 million, 20.9. Then it goes into the operating expenses. Total operating expenses would be is proposed at 13.4. And then the depreciation of our system, 6.1, and the RDA tax increment. There's kind of a little different of accounting. So this 1.65 is we have 1.65 up in revenue, so it basically crosses itself out. But what RDA tax increment is what Salt Lake County takes from us, or not from us, but we don't get it yet because those RDAs are still going on and we don't have 100% of the value of the growth coming to us yet. Eventually, when the RDA is dissolved, we will have that. But it's not something we're paying out. We have revenue to cover it because that's how we book it, anyway. The debt service, no new debt service except for the 20% of the loan for the lead and copper. We're only gonna be paying 20% of what we use. So we have to put that in there. So we have total expenses of 24 million. Then we're going to, oh, sorry. net revenues,
just gonna say-
including depreciation, then we add back depreciation. So
Right.
basically, with that calculated, we have 2.9 to spend out of our operating income on capital projects.
Can I point out one
Yes.
thing, Leah? I just wanted to, I think this shows that we're trying to save anywhere we can. When we look at our estimated operating expenses, our budgeted for 2025 was 13.8. And we've dropped that down 400, roughly 400 grand. So our estimated operating, our budgeted for this year, we're trying to cut about close to 400 grand. So we're doing everything we can to really tighten that. And I think that's reflected in the budget.
Well, one of the things too is, I think if we can cut, but let's not cut where we're gonna go with that. I mean, you know what I'm saying? The things that we need to keep pushing on that. But like I said, I've been impressed how you guys have, watched what we're spending.
Well, yeah, it's finding that balance of what's priority, and that is the challenge, and that's where there's differences of opinion. And that's why we have to have those discussions. So Leah will continue on, and then we'll get to some of those discussions as she goes through the.
So kind of just to show what
Slides.
Clint just mentioned, on page 7 of 25, it has the blue recap of all divisions.
Yes.
That's the page I'm on. It basically tells the same story. If you'll look at the middle of the page, it says increase/decrease comparison 25 to 26. So the total income, the difference is 7.9. The majority of that, it's a decrease. So we're expecting to get less income than our this year's budget by about 7.9. 6 million of that is what we budgeted in 2025 if we had sold that property. So we've pulled that out. That's why it's decreased by 7.9.
Okay.
And as Clint said, the total expenses, the difference is a decrease of 435,000. And based on past actuals, we feel comfortable by reducing that by 400,000. So, the bond and loans, it's a increase of 4.26, and that's part of it's due with the new loan, not much, but it's some of the interest that we're paying.
Yeah, I think it's just another one of those points of, we got a lot of misinformation when people say you guys just continue to spend and spend and spend. Here's another point where we're not doing that. We're actually not just ever increasing budget. We're going through that process, and we're less than we projected last year, so.
The following pages is basically detail, line by line, of the numbers that we just went through. So I'm inclined to let you tell me what you'd like to look at. We're having a master plan done, so in our last master plan, we have one more year that's scheduled for rates to increase just a little bit that's already been approved. That's in here for the revenue. What else is a big ticket item? The contributed the impact fee is, we budgeted less there too, assuming that the trend is still gonna maybe go down.
I think after what Nathan was saying about impact fees, I think we need to look at that really hard and maybe specialize. I'm not sure how we need to do that, but I think we need to specialize now, because after what Clint proposed to us on the life of our equipment, I think we really need to do that, and we need to comply with the state requirement. So it's gonna take some extra work, but I think the life of our equipment is gonna go. I'm impressed with what he proposed as upgrades. I know, it might be 20 years away, but we need to do that in also for projected
impact fees.
Impact fees.
I agree. That'll be part of the analysis. They're just finishing up the master planning here. We'll be
Correct.
presenting to the board, and then impact fee analysis will be shortly after that, right?
Yeah,
Almost
Yeah.
hand in hand. We're,
Yeah.
I mean,
Yes.
it's very impressive because it shows that we do have a future with the system. We don't have to have bigger property or anything else. I think that,
yeah, that's a big win right
Yeah.
there, yeah.
we might have to go in the ground 50 feet, but so what?
Yeah,
Yeah, that's pretty impressive.
yeah, and just something to know, with impact fees, there are rules on what you can collect, you know, how many years forward you can look. So these big projects like that are, you know, 20 years out, in our current plan, we've shown that in the master plan, you know, and we're projecting for it, but for the impact fee, it's a 10-year window, so it doesn't realize that project in that impact fee.
Does the,
That's why it's also important to continually update your impact fee so
Yeah.
that you can capture those when they're needed.
so does our forecast for that help justify against the impact fee?
Not in the 10-year window, but once it's within that 10-year window, then yes.
Oh, it does? Okay.
so if, for example, we had to buy property, we could potentially justify the purchasing that in the 10-year window.
Correct.
And then we could include that, but if engineering needed to start,
Correct.
any of the, or the permitting,
Yep.
any of the parts of the project that fall in that window, we could get going on, but.
Yeah. And our budgeting reflects our master plan, I mean, it's all intertwined. We try to budget for that current year, what's in the master plan,
Right.
so we don't get behind. But, I think that unless you guys wanna go through more detail, we could jump to the projects. Now,
I kinda think this looks pretty good myself. What do you guys think? I mean,
Covered it very well.
it's quite the process.
yeah, it is. One of the, you're gonna laugh when I tell you this, so can we get a pallet jack down at the EDR?
I don't know why we couldn't.
Okay,
Is something going on?
we just need to have that in the budget.
Pallet jack?
Okay.
Gee, what are you talking about?
Just the, you know.
No, just a pallet jack for down there.
Just so they can,
Somebody just requested that, so I said, okay, I'll put it in the budget.
I think, yeah, we should be able to cover that.
probably would fit in O&M, you know, depending. So you were provided last board meeting with a whole list of projects, and we took that back with your comments, and Trevor and the managers went through and put together a ranking for those projects. From that, what's in your packet, it's like the first page right after the agenda.
Well, the first page, that's like, well, I can't find
Sorry.
it. Hope you're good. Oh, here we go.
One more. Oh, actually, go back
Danny's
one
got
more.
it. Yeah, Danny and Mick's on the right. Yep, Jeff's got it.
Jeff, we got it.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So this page and the next page is what was submitted last board meeting. The ranking's been added, and then what you see in.
So we're ranked them as what needs to be,
Yeah, so there's a department, meaning projects within water,
Okay.
sewer, secondary, and administrative, that's one ranking. And then overall is all of them put together, which one's the most important, so.
so let me ask you, what's the truck garage?
So that was that one back there. But before we.
Okay, I got it. Okay, I'm sorry, yeah, I was just thinking something
So-
else.
So before we get into this ranking, maybe we can go to the sheet that we're proposing,
Proposing, that's.
and then you
yeah.
can flip back and forth.
That is,
That is sheet
yes, page 50.
11, page 11.
11 of 25.
So from all those and all that ranking, we went through and this is what we came up with.
So I guess we can just go through the
Yeah,
proposed.
Trevor, do you want to lead us through the?
Sure.
Oh, sorry, let me look.
It goes 9.
15 of 29, Mr. Chairman.
Well,
I'll go print yours.
That's PDF.
The-
11 of 25?
Yeah, it says 11 of
yeah, he's
25.
Here's
missing his.
11.
Yeah, see, I go 9, and I don't have a 10 or 11, but. You know what, you're good, Andrew, I'll just share here. We're good, yeah. Nope, we're fine, thank
If you
you.
want, it's up here too. Dan,
No, you're good, I'm just sharing it here with Jeff and Danny.
Okay.
Oh, it's not.
you did left all the time?
Yeah.
Nice.
So meter replacement program, that's our ongoing meter replacement. That price has been reduced a little bit from the last week to $580. Haynes well number 8, that's the one where we have the $1.3 million grant. We've got that split up in 2 portions, but they go together. One's the bidding and CM, that'd be the consultant price, and then the replacement, drilling that new well and constructing the pump station. We have the AMI metering equipment. That's getting us the additional towers so that we can get closer to that, 90 to, higher percent of all customers being connected to AMI. We have the EDR stack replacement. That's the ongoing replacement of those stacks. There's a convault at the EDR, and that is in line with our emergency response kind of plan and the goals there. Currently, we have around 24 hours of fuel storage to run the EDR. This will put us up to closer to 48 hours, so two days total. And then the lead and copper shown there. The other page Liao showed you 4 million was in income. Here's 4 million in expense, and then there's the loan payment is factored in. So that's just showing there for that project. If we move to sewer division, plant sensors and instrumentation, those are replacements or upgrades to those components within the plant. The west side collection, those are our big trunk lines. Right now we're in design of project 2. We want to continue design, and so this one is design of project 3. We don't have construction of project 2 in here. That was around a $4 million project. So we decided to wait on that, but continue with the design so that when we have the funding, we can construct those.
So there's no way to recapture all that extra cost, what we planned and budgeted for getting that sewer line underneath 201 because of the communication that's in the way?
Say that again?
Is there any way to recoup those extra costs, all this delay and everything on getting that sewer line under 201 because of the communication?
So, currently, I think you're asking, is there any way that UDOT or someone else would pay for a portion of that? Currently,
They
their
won't.
stance is no.
Can we go back to the state and say, hey,
We could look at some of those avenues and see if that's a possibility, yeah.
That might require litigation,
what kind
potentially.
of cost do you think it is? Do we know
So,
yet?
we don't know the cost of the boring portion. There is some additional potholing and surveying that's required to develop that plan for the rerouting.
Are we now gonna have to pay for the new conduit?
That is the way it's looking, yes.
And then are we paying for all the new cabling, or will
They-
they pull the cable out? What-
They're gonna, yeah, so that is one thing that UDOT and the other fiber company, I can't remember their name, they're gonna take care of pulling the wire and the wire itself.
So we have to pay for it, do we know what that cost is yet?
Not on the boring of the conduit yet. So we're still working on that.
Okay.
Next one we have there is the change house / operations headquarter. That's for the construction. Currently, we're in the design of that. And then we have a camera van replacement.
So
And
now, on the camera van, are we replacing the whole camera van?
We've had that scheduled, we do 10-year intervals historically, and we're on our 12th year. So we're trying to get ahead of depreciation. We're trying to get as much trade-in value as we can. We've got that scheduled here tentatively. If we can't find a good buyer, maybe we don't make that purchase next year, but we want to keep that window open.
So is there a reason why we need to change it out?
It's just getting old. It's 12 years old. It's getting some wear and tear. And then the equipment's changed just a little bit. It's pretty compact, and we're looking, as we expand operations, we've just kind of outgrown that setup.
But this is one that we've talked about, if we need to cut further, this might be a spot we feel like we can do that. We could potentially do that here.
Well, sometimes if you can move it out a couple of years, it makes a big difference. I don't know if the wear and tear that's happening over a year at a time.
You said we had,
We spent 7,600, excuse me, in 2024 for R&M. And this year we're up to 12,000 on R&M for the camera.
we might need a
van.
little more tracking, but it is going up, the amount we're
It's
putting into it.
295.
295.
Yeah, the thing I worry
For
about,
context, I know that's a big number. He said the other bids were,
We've got 3 competitive bids. This is the bid from the manufacturer that we currently have and have always had. The other 2 bids, they're north of 400,000 and 500,000, which essentially rules them out. We don't need to go with that, and that's, similarly equipped.
What is that camera van we have now worth? What is it?
We're hoping to get 30,000 in trade, and that's if we can find a buyer. The equipment is dated to a point where it's a real niche system, and only somebody that needs a small system and has the spare parts will buy it. That's part of why waiting 10 years isn't as advantageous as 5 years. But we think 10 years is just the goal that we've always had. So,
Well, too bad we couldn't sell it to a rural.
heck yeah, I mean, there's a lot of small companies that are not gonna spend 300,000, I guarantee
right.
it.
Our last camera, we did sell to a rural area in southern Utah. We've asked them about potentially looking at this one. We've asked the manufacturer is potentially using it as a demo. So we're exploring all options for the best trade.
Okay.
but this is a change that we could make with feedback from the board when we bring back our final.
Right,
I didn't realize we've had it that long.
right.
Well, on this equipment, we kind of have a rule of thumb. Not everybody does, but a lot of contractors do. If you're starting to spend a lot of money on repairs, then you gotta look at upgrade. But I don't know how much we're really spending. $7,500 don't sound like very much to 300,000 to me.
Well, that went up, that's the
Went up
issue. is
5 this year.
That's up to 12,000 this year. So it's trending up. That's something we can continue to monitor.
Right.
Because eventually you're gonna put so much into it, you ain't gonna get, what we're gonna get in there, we won't get back right.
No, but if we put 12,000 into it, you can recoup that when you sell it to a smaller company because you show
Right.
you've increased or you've maintained the value of the piece of equipment.
Yeah, I agree.
Next on there is the sludge hauling trailer, and that one is directly tied to the change in site for hauling. So that one is needed. And then the Huber rebuild, this is a recommendation of every 8 years, and this is the year for that.
On that trailer,
Yeah.
is that because they're moving their site out to the farther area? So we need a different trailer to do that?
We currently have one of those setups, and then we have the traditional style dump truck. And we haul to the current location in the small dump truck. The new site is able to handle the larger beds, and it's almost 2-to-1 on volume. So we think, based on our calculations and the round trip time, we need to be able to maximize the amount of volume we're using per trip. Because we're estimating anywhere between 3.5 to 4 hours per trip. So if we can do it in double the load, while still being able to waste into the existing, that's our best bet.
So is it just an end dump, or is it a?
It's a pusher plate with, yeah, end dump with pusher plate.
So what I'm finding, because I'm always looking for trailers and things like that, because I picked up my side dumper for a real good price. But what I'm looking at is there are a lot of trailers for sale now.
Sure.
I don't know what's going on. A lot of people are getting out of the business, whatever. And they're quite a bit cheaper than new.
Right.
So I'm wondering if we ought to look at that, put all the features that you've got to have, cover, stuff like that, but I wanted to put a cover on my side dumper, and I called Western and a couple of those guys. They were outright, I mean, they were about, probably somewhere around $13,000. I went over to Sharp's Tarps, they sell the whole thing for like $4,200.
Sure.
And they'll wire it and install the whole thing, so I'm just thinking, and he said they're doing a lot of replacement because guys aren't paying attention and they'll dump a side dumper without pulling the tarp out of the way. It was kind of like, that's pretty ridiculous, but anyway, I'm just saying that we need to shop around and this kind of stuff, because you find a trailer that is not in that good a shape, it's a lot cheaper to fix an older trailer because the bearings can all be replaced, the tires can be replaced. But if you get like aluminum trailers and stuff, they don't wear and tear. Now, and on a steel trailer, you can sandblast and paint those, and it's not that expensive either. But I'm just saying, on trailers, you have to look at that, and the used market is huge. I can't believe how many people, I don't know if they got in the hauling business and couldn't make it or whatever. There are a lot of trailers, and I stay away from the dealers because they're just marking it up.
And that's a great point, and I think it speaks to our strategy. So everything we've bought used, because I think there is a good market for it. Ours is all aluminum, but what we wanted to do was get the price from the manufacturer for a direct replacement, and then we know that value for budget, and then if we can find one at a better deal, then that's good for us.
Yeah, I usually get the spec on the new one, and then I'll go out and look at used, and I just found a unit that normally goes for $2,000, and I found on the internet, brand new, for $1,300. So that was a big deal for me, but same thing on this trailer. I cannot believe how many are for sale out there, and I guess it's people that thought they'd go in the hauling business, and then they couldn't make it, or they didn't get the loads or something, I don't know.
I do want to point out, there's a difference between, obviously, your side dump, but a trailer that's going to be hauling liquid volume versus fill, right? So everything's got to be a lot tighter. There's special seals, the wear and tear from the gases and everything that you find in the waste. It's not your typical dump trailer, is all I want to
No.
communicate.
What I said is you look at all the specs on the new one, and then you put those specs in and look in the used market.
Right.
Because I would never do anything other than aluminum in this situation,
Okay. And then the last one under sewer division is, security cameras for those new facilities at the treatment plant. Just make sure we have those cameras in the correct places.
So what about the cameras? Do we have cameras from the down at the EDR? I mean, did we ever talk to Kennecott about them cameras they have, that when we went on that tour, them cameras could see?
Yeah, Dallas
We could
talked
see
to it.
people down at the sewer plant walking around from clear up.
On the dike? Mm-hmm. Wow.
There was a significant cost difference in what they spend on security and what we do. Typically, for
Well, I know, but I
example,
was just curious to see what them cameras cost.
Theirs
He
are
did
about
do it, he did look at
$5,000.
that.
I'll bet Kennecott's are about $5,000 a camera.
Okay,
the one that I talked to about was about 3 times that.
oh, was it really?
We're hopeful that we can get a license plate from somebody that's dumping illegally in front of the facilities or something. they can zoom in on the threads of a baseball from the dikes, right?
Yeah, oh no, we seen it, didn't we?
Yeah, we did. So we'll spend 1,300, I think, on a camera.
Yeah, some of our 3-headed cameras are 2,600, but
Maybe the-
you get 3
You know what
points
I'd
of
like to
view.
do? I'd like to put a camera up on 8400, up to our, up here 84 and 41 where everybody's dumping.
Okay.
Up on our sewer, up
We
to
do
our,
have
our
one.
tank up there.
We do have one facing, we do have one up there.
Do we?
It might not be at the angle that we could catch anybody.
I would like to see if
We
we
could
could,
maybe add one.
because from what I got told from the mayor from West Valley, if anybody dumps on our property, it's our reliability to clean it up.
Oh, no.
I would like to catch who's doing it because it's turning up to be a dump up there.
I just seen on 4100 behind the Ivory model home thing.
Yeah.
Not the model home, but the
Trailer,
trailer.
the
Right
couch and
behind us,
that.
somebody dumped a mattress and a
Yeah.
whole bunch of crap behind that. Just.
So I'd like to see if we could put a camera up there and like, do we have any cameras up at our other facility of our water tanks and that?
We
Okay,
actually got
okay.
that installed. We have cameras at each of those facilities.
So you guys can pull them up on your phone and that? Okay, awesome, good.
Check 'em. It's been really nice to have.
Because we can never have enough protection, right?
Okay, administration division, so there's additional cameras there, mainly for the downstairs area.
Those numbers should be swapped, the 20,000 and
And the 5,000.
the 5,000 for the office door.
I'm thinking that door is gonna be closer to 30.
Yeah. So for the final, we can change that.
I've got a couple people that have come in, I'm guessing it's gonna be closer to 30.
Okay.
So to reiterate that, the security cameras downstairs will be the 5,000. And then the bulletproof door for the front office will be increased to 30. Then the conference room sound masking, we have 5,000 there. I think there's a lot lower cost options to that we can initially try.
So I have a question really fast. I know this ain't in the budget, but you know, we're talking about security for a minute, right? We're talking about spending $30,000 for that door out there. But when you gotta really look at this too, and I'm the one that brought up that door deal because, you know, they can kick that door in. But the question I have, what about these doors here? They can kick these doors in and then come in here and kick this door and then they get inside. So when you start looking at that, you gotta really look at it real thorough too, because we're just replacing that door. Maybe they're not even thinking that this door connects into this door, right? But
And I will say that could possibly come down, so the reason why I'm guessing 30 is from what they were talking about, and we spent 20,000 when we did the windows.
right,
There's some things that we can change that would be a lesser cost. So I've asked them to try and not replace the door
Like
and
a
just
locking
replace the pane on it, which would bring it down. And then if there's some windows underneath the desk windows that I asked them to get a price on as well, and we could potentially take that out because, again, likely that's not where they're gonna focus is gonna be at. It's gonna be at the door and those two windows.
okay, yeah. Because like I said, we just had a threat here a week ago.
Yeah. You're not wrong. In a world where things like that happens, we've got to be looking at measures that can protect our people.
But we could just do what we can for 20. Maybe that adjusts that scope a little bit, but I think it would still accomplish, it sounds like, we could probably get close. Maybe just double check that, and maybe you can get the final numbers
I should have final numbers before the final.
before we get for the final budget, and we can put in what
Do you have
the,
any questions?
Well, we gotta be careful because if you go to a door guy, he's just gonna go to people like Beacon Metals or Architectural Supply and buy all the locking system. We could have somebody install it ourselves.
Yeah, my plans aren't to change out the door, it's just to change out the window panes.
Yeah, well, you can change out the window pane from a glass guy like Valley Glass or somebody, but I think the locking mechanism probably needs to be beefed up. And that you can go to Architectural or Beacon Supply and they can furnish you a locking mechanism because all the door guys can do is jack it up.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, because I worry about, you know, here we are, I'm going off the subject again, but I worry about, you know, like that door out there, you know, you have to have a card to go scan it, but can they really pull it hard enough? And no, okay.
Well, peak
Not that
alarm,
we've, yeah.
peak alarm, I think they saw me one night unlocking that, I don't know what it is, but we unlocked that door. They're like, why do you do that every day? Because those magnets on those doors, there's nobody gonna be getting in.
Okay.
Never tried it, but.
That's why I said for the budget, is that gonna be enough in case we have? Okay.
And then last one under administrative is the conservation garden improvements. We have 100,000. We're, you know, currently working with the designer, landscape architect. Their intention is to get us a budget maybe next week or the week after.
This was a placeholder.
This was a
primarily.
placeholder. We don't truly know the cost of that, so we're waiting for that. And that will come, part of that will be, you know, grant through Jordan Valley.
Yeah, we approved that the other day. at our
Yeah,
meeting.
so we got it for the design, and we've had initial conversations with Courtney there about, okay, what happens when we go to construction, and we'll still be able to apply for that grant.
I think another
for that.
thing would be good for grant money is for advertising of our gardens through Jordan Valley, because Kearns and them got a lot of money from Jordan Valley, and so has South Salt Lake, and so has
Yeah.
Harriman and South Jordan, and I think we should try to get as much grant money from them guys as we can,
Yeah, each year we have that potential.
because I think this is our only second grant we've ever got.
Yeah,
Everybody else is getting all kinds of money, and we need to
Well,
go.
because we buy
annual
water
thing,
from them,
right?
we're
it is.
allowed.
You what?
It's an annual,
Each year,
Option.
member agencies can apply for grant funding.
is the maximum
It's
of,
dependent on how much water you take from Jordan Valley.
It is.
oh, okay.
So we, taking 15% of our water, couldn't necessarily, we might not get as much as.
Right, no, we won't, but we raise it up one year and then
Every
get
year.
everything we want, and raise it back down, no, just kidding.
So I guess one of the things to consider is that 100,000 could change depending on that budget that we get.
I have a tendency to feel that that's gonna be fairly low for what we're wanting to do.
Okay,
Signage adds up quickly.
I just wanna get people up here looking.
Yeah, and that's really what the key is, there's also, we're looking at maybe replacing some lighting that's
Okay.
more durable, so I just wanna give you a heads up.
And you know what's funny is everybody complained about this over here, right? These houses all over here, they all love it now.
Oh, I bet.
Yeah, it's beautiful. Okay, then, secondary water, what we have there is 2 construction projects, 3100 South secondary line and 7200 West. And these two water lines, they get us service to different areas. The 72 one gets us connected to the ARA Business Park area, which has quite a bit of landscaping. So that will save on drinking water outdoor and start to use secondary water outdoor there. Both of these projects, we've been in design. We're looking to construct them next year. The 3100 South also is a pretty important line because it connects like the CW Farms area all the way east past 8,000, puts that trunk line in, and that allows us to then on a future project connect from Fetzer to 3100 South. That helps us get water from reuse to Zone 1. And then additional drain line installation. We saw a lot of success in our flushing program earlier this year. We have some additional areas that we want to put drain and flush lines. That's what that is for. And then the secondary booster station, Zone 3 cooling. There's been issues with the cooling system at that booster station to where we want to investigate that and have some funding there to improve that cooling.
What's the actual cooling that's needed? Is it the VFDs overheating or something?
No, it's the AC for the building. Right now, it's the evaporative cooler,
Oh,
and it's
that was a
pulling.
poor design.
It's pulling secondary, and we're starting to see like pinholes in the copper, and we think it's the kind of a two-part, the abrasiveness of that water. It's not as clean regardless of what we do. And then the pressure that it's seeing, so there's high velocities and,
So we still should be able to convert that over to a split system. That'd be a lot cheaper.
those are some of the thoughts. So that's why we,
Heated also?
it does have a heater, yep. So that's why we have this in here. We're not saying one way or another, but it's some funding in there that will cover us after we do our investigation.
Well, a 3-ton system's a lot less than 50,000.
Yeah,
Yeah, 3-ton, I couldn't imagine it'd take more than 3 tons.
yeah, I agree.
So I got a question for you. So like on these budgets and everything, like let's say we budget for 50,000, it only comes 30. Where does that other 20 go? Do you just?
Stays in reserve.
Okay, okay, I just didn't know how that worked.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's
Or I
why
didn't know if you
we're,
kept it in that and then you just
That's-
reused it for another.
that's
And
a,
sometimes that happens, you know, sometimes these come in maybe a little higher, so we kind of trade if we have to.
that's just a general philosophy that I think the district has practiced for a long time, which I think has been wise. Leisle has always tended to, and the teams, to try to get a little higher on the estimates in the budget. Not too high, but try to have a little bit of room so that we're not going over budget ultimately.
Correct.
Yeah, if we went down to the nitty gritty and didn't put a little buffer in there, we'd be opening our budget every month. So we really don't want to do that, so we leave a little buffer in the expenses.
Okay, so we've been through the proposed projects. At this point, we could discuss any that were cut, or we could move on to some of the other things that we want to draw attentions to in the operations with maybe like staffing, some of those things that we're proposing.
I would like to talk about the staffing.
Okay, we can do that next. So, on the water side,
What page is that on?
you want to,
It's actually in the detailed, so we could go to, you could go to page 12. Well,
Oh, it's still
I
small.
can't see it.
let's go to the overall, sorry, hold on.
What page?
Almost there, sorry. So 8 of 25,
8 of 25, okay.
You got that one?
and it's the section right under the total income, salaries and benefits.
okay, so it's a total lump.
Yeah, it includes water, sewer,
Okay.
admin, everything.
But I think on the water side, Steve and Chris and myself and Trevor,
So go over to page 8.
yeah, it's on page 8.
It's right
One of the things that we feel like is worthy of some investment in this next year is the potential discussion of adding a purely maintenance-focused member of the water side.
So explain to me how that would work.
Yeah, we can do that. First, I'll just let you know that a lot of the other water systems and districts, when they start getting bigger, they tend to break apart operations from maintenance. I don't think we're proposing doing that yet, but this would be a step that we're finding could help towards that goal, and that's something Chris has done in South Jordan. They split those groups as well, so he's familiar with that operation. I've talked with other districts. There reaches a point when the maintenance becomes, when you grow and you get more and more facilities like we've done, and the expectations, I think, of the public are getting higher and higher on the appearance of our facilities and the concern we've noticed, especially this last season. Some focus on that and dedicated manpower towards that is something we've wanted to discuss. And so Chris, maybe you can, what would this person be doing?
Yeah, so some of the things that we've talked about that this position could be doing would be summertime, spring, summertime, obviously would be weed control, garbage control, and it would help kind of take some of the stress off the construction guys to where we could focus more on our projects that we have going on, some of the more pressing stuff that we need to take care of, to where this guy, he could do your mowing all of the lawns, pulling the weeds, keeping up on the bark, the trimming the trees, just your basic groundskeeping.
Now, would he take care of our, because I was a big, I got beat up a lot this summer about our facilities not looking good, so he would take care of all our, like the reservoirs and our tanks areas
And that would be weed control, garbage, and anything. He could be fixing fences, fixing
so then they
gates.
would also help with the city stuff too, right? Like going down to the city and doing stuff what they need, right?
Sorry.
Or officially no, but
No, I had to throw that in there. That's what I was poking you about.
Well, one thing I was looking at, you've got three ways to do it. Either you dedicate somebody to just do that, then what do they do in the wintertime? Because it makes it
which you
different.
can talk about.
The other one is possibly getting it bid out to do, because there seems to be a lot of people, but I've been finding out some people are advertising to do lawn care and stuff. My God, they're expensive.
Yeah.
I had somebody just clean
That
the
was-
front yard
that
with
was-
$1,600.
And
I
they
said, "That's
do a
freaking
horrible job.
Oh, they did a real good job, but
So that's also part of this discussion on the conservation garden and the plants. We would propose that person be trained by Jordan Valley's
I got one.
staff, work with them so that they could also oversee all of the plants, because we've had elite landscaping and they're expensive.
Yeah, what do we spend? I was just.
They're about $1,200 a month during the, so
So,
that person could get that training that Jordan Valley has and oversee. We might need help at times.
you know what, and the thing is, and I don't know if the union goes for this or not, but you know what, we could possibly, if it got to a thing, we could hire maybe someone part-time.
that's a possibility.
That might be an option, start part-time.
Well, no, I think we're there. I think we could use a full-time person to do this. Because but then in the wintertime, they would be making sure because I got beat up too about the walks in front of our, down on 8,000, they're not being cleaned and, and when people are on call, that's part of their job to go do that. But I would support this. And I would try to sell it to the trustees because I think this would be a great deal because you need someone that it's just kind of more or less like a hand, put out, take care of things. And if something comes up, you're not pulling the construction crew guys off this to come do this.
Yeah.
And they could be focusing on,
Yeah, and obviously the biggest concern is, I think there's a concern that there's idle time.
Yeah.
And you can speak to how much idle time do we have on the
the last
construction?
vehicle I pulled up, there was a lot of idle time. No, just kidding.
I would agree to that if that person can also be cross-trained to help our crews.
Yes.
And work with the crew. That's the only way I'd the advantage.
I think
Because I
so.
do it just like for the engineer to help Trevor. If they can fall in and help in other areas, then I'm for that.
And I think they also got to be able to help down at the sewer plant. If the sewer plant gets in a
Yeah,
problem and
absolutely.
they need something done because, we maintain our own stuff down there, right? We maintain our own facilities
Yeah, there
down
might-
but I just think that, maybe that person could maintain, they'd have a route, right? I mean, you'd have a schedule of what you're gonna do.
These are things that we've discussed, and especially wintertime, where they are gonna be a little slower. There's plenty of maintenance, facilities maintenance, the doors, the locks, all this that they could be going through and upkeeping, preventative maintenance.
I like that.
And then a
just
day
don't-
that maybe we're slammed busy and we have a guy calling sick, that's somebody that we could pull.
Yeah.
Okay, you're not that busy in the wintertime, but we've got a big leak going on, you could help us out here.
Yeah, I just don't like to say, oh, no, my job is in the gardens.
No, it'd be,
No, that's what I'm saying. That's not.
And we just need to make sure how we write this up for the union, because we want to make sure it's, that they'll do, but like I said, would this one guy be able to keep up this? Because when I walk through this, we got quite a bit of stuff here.
Yeah, that's not to say he might not need to pull somebody on a day at a time or something to help him.
So would we do away with our landscaper?
I think we would have to justify that to the board, I think we would have to be able to pull
I think that
back.
would be good.
some landscape.
Because I don't wanna pull the landscaper if we ain't gonna be able to keep up on it.
I think we,
So we got a lot of money invested out
We
here.
might have to buy a little bit of equipment if
We
we
might.
do take
That's
that, like
something
a
that
blower and.
we've discussed a little bit too, is to maybe provide the better equipment to
We
where,
probably have to provide a vehicle too.
yeah.
We still do have the canyon for the time being.
That's a good.
The
Good
thing that
trusty
we're running into the issue.
That thing's as old as
it's
my little
awesome, the
truck.
canyon has been a
The
great.
canyon's been a lifesaver for years.
It's
The
big,
only-
I know,
keep
it's the
using
same
it.
as my little truck.
The only issue that me and Steve have come up with that is that if we're taking care of ponds and sites like that, we're gonna have to have a vehicle that can haul the skid steer with the
Right.
mower.
Yeah, that's
with-
right. That's true.
So, I mean, we're gonna have to have a 1-ton. We do have that other 1-ton truck over there that has kind of been the floater that goes and does a lot of the landscaping stuff. I don't know, that could be used,
What would he need to haul? He needs a 1-ton?
like our skid steer with our field mower and
Oh,
stuff to do the big field mows and,
That might be something you can coordinate for the time being.
yeah, and that extra truck, that's pretty much all it did this year was,
Could we put that in the budget?
We don't have anything for a truck.
But we can add it, right?
We can, yes.
Probably would be
I think if we're gonna do this, we should put it in the budget now, so we could just,
Okay.
So I will say, if we're gonna talk about adding a vehicle to the fleet, we might consider doing a service truck rather than just a normal truck, and then we repurpose that one.
repurpose what one?
The one that we have, the 1-ton, repurpose it to this
Oh, landscape.
landscaper job.
Because we use that as a second.
Yeah.
yeah,
like a
that's
second
what it's mostly been used for. It's been our, kind of our spare truck and to have a good truck that we need. And this season, we used it mostly all for landscaping, so we have a vehicle for the landscaper, so we don't have to pull the service truck or drop a guy off or something like that, where he can have.
Would this landscaper guy or this maintenance guy, would he fall under your ordinance? I mean, under water or sewer, but probably fall under both, right? If Dallas says, hey, I need help down here for today or half a day, then we, you
Yeah,
know,
he'd just coordinate with the water.
right.
So we need to make a list of all those duties that would fall under also
Yeah.
wastewater and water. I think that's a good
And
idea.
that, and it falls under the EDR too, because at times these guys have been pulled off, to go down and help, Matt and them down there, Stephen and Chris has gone down there, so this person could actually be good if it was reversible, and then like I said, he could help if you guys need him.
This guy will stay plenty busy.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I mean, with
we-
all
I
the
know I
mowing
won't,
and
I
all
know I
this
won't
stuff,
apply for it.
you know.
But as Andrew was saying, I think they did put in a service truck. If they pulled it out, it was an idea to have a service truck and to back him up, I
So
think.
would we pull the old service truck out and that's what we would use?
Yeah, that would be the 1-ton.
So the 1-ton that we've got currently, we would use that for the landscaping, and if we're gonna purchase another vehicle, I would suggest doing
So
a
let me-
double cab service truck.
So we have, tell me if I'm right, so we have the maintenance truck, the one that Bob and them drive, right?
Yeah.
Plus they also have a truck.
They have
Is
the
that the
dumpsters.
is that the 1-ton truck?
That's their 1-ton.
They have a
Then-
1-ton, so on over here, we have the big truck with the crane.
service truck.
That's
Big
Bob's
service
service
truck.
That's Bob's.
And then we got a 1-ton that Paul uses. And then we've got Chris's lead truck that's a 1-ton. We've got the 1-ton that the construction crew uses, and then we've got a 550 service truck that the construction crew uses. And then we've got the.
Oh yeah, that's the 4-door one, right?
Yeah, and
So which one would you, which one you talking about you wanna replace, or put?
We would take that 1-ton that the construction crew uses and put it as the landscaping truck.
The white
and the maintenance truck, and then we would get another service truck. We probably wouldn't need to be as big as that. We could probably go to a double cab.
honestly, I would prefer if it's possible to get a single cab to just a two-seater. That's all you need. We have the 4-door truck and a 2-door truck. That is everybody.
Yeah, and
on the crew.
I like the idea of that, because I'm telling you, I've had a lot of people complain, well, your 4-doors truck, I always see you got 4 people riding around, you know?
And I did talk to them about the possibility of single cab. Single cabs are hard to come by.
Hard to come.
And so they told me that they could price me a double cab. But we can keep searching for a single cab. I told them I wanted them to look to see if we could find a used one. They had a used one last year that they talked to me about, but we weren't ready at that point. And so I think we can continue looking at a used market as well.
Okay.
So we have 1-tons because they need to be able to haul skid steer and different stuff.
Skid steer, the Mini-X, the backhoe, the
Road
load up trailers.
Road plates are a big
Yeah,
one.
road
They're
plates.
probably one of the heaviest. I personally feel, my own opinion, that, I mean, if we could even go bigger than a 1-ton, it would be better. With the weight that we're pulling, I think it'd be safer.
550 would be good.
Yeah, if we could do another 550 somehow, I know it's hard because the only way to get a Chevy that way is it's a Kodiak, and then that's a big truck. And I don't think we need a big truck. So I've looked into the Ram 5500s, the Ford, like the F550 we have now. I think that would be a good way to go.
I wouldn't even think
With the
about
weight.
Ram, don't even think about that. They're high maintenance.
Yeah.
You want a truck that lasts. The Ford's been out doing most of it.
So one other question when we're talking, I get nervous when we start talking about trucks. I just want to make sure we're utilizing these trucks, how they need to be utilized. I mean, cause.
We could redo, you know, in the past, we brought the board a list and what it's being used for. We could bring that and make sure
'Cause I did
it's
get-
updated for you so that.
I do have an email on here that, how many trucks do you need to show up to a service leak?
Yeah,
'cause
the
there's-
problem is,
I know, but you know, but that's what I'm saying. It's amazing how uneducated people are, but then once you explain to them, like I just sent Jeff Danny this message and you seen that once you explain yourself, it's good.
Yeah. I think we could find a lot of benefit in having a separate truck where we could split the crew.
Right.
Also, to where you wouldn't see both the trucks together. You're not gonna see, I mean, unless
Okay,
it was
well,
a
you know
very
what? And I'm
big-
gonna be honest with you, I will support that, and if the other two board members, what they
Yeah,
think.
that's fine.
Jeff's really knowledgeable in that kind of stuff where I'm not, and.
I told Steve.
we
I
would
told
bring back
Steve-
anything for.
When I came up to pick up those hydrants, I told Steve, we need to talk to Sharp Starts and see if they'll build us, or we can buy them online. I found them for pretty cheap. Trailer tire covers. Our trailers sit for a long time, and the sun is taking them
Yeah.
out. If we could get some, and you can buy them on the internet, they're not very expensive. I think I seen them for 20 or 30 bucks, but I've had stuff covered from Sharp Starts that just are pristine underneath. And so, but you can look on the internet and get these dual tired covers. And I was looking that we have a lot of trailers that are sitting and the hot sun and everything, and tires are getting expensive.
Yeah.
I mean, they're just going up and up and up because of the rubber.
So I can take you down the street and get you all the tires you want.
Yeah.
Somebody's dumped all these tires down that I'm dealing with right now, so.
I'm just saying, it costs a lot of money to replace tires on a trailer.
Yeah. And we do have some
It
trailers.
only
that
takes a
sit-
minute to pull them off and wrap them up, so.
Yeah, it's not a nuisance on the trailers that sit for 6 months at a time when we only use them a few times a year when we need them. Definitely.
Okay, nothing else on the water side, right?
Yeah.
We're talking about the sewer side now. Dallas, any comments on sewer staffing for next year and the next year?
Yeah, we've just had a budget placeholder for a future wastewater operator. We thought as the reuse facility would come online, we'd require more manpower. We've been able to manage that. With the pending closure of ET, we're looking at a full-time operator to help with the hauling. I don't know that we hire that this year. It's, to get an official date from ET on their closure, that's like pulling teeth. I've driven over there several times to talk to their higher-ups, and part of the facility is the permitting, right? And they can't get hard dates from the EPA. I think we'll get through 26 without having to hire, but definitely by 27.
Okay, so a question, so would we want to put that in the budget this year and just leave that money there?
We do have a vacant position.
Okay, I
not
just want,
vacant,
okay, I
but
just
an
want to make sure,
additional in
so,
already.
because there's nothing worse than you want to hire somebody, you don't have the money.
Well, and we talked about it, and that is one of the things, if they do decide to go early 2027, all of a sudden we're scrambling. We don't want somebody that doesn't have their CDL and trained yet.
Right.
January 1st.
We'll want to be able to hire and get somebody trained. So it'd be a full-time wastewater treatment employee. He would just be in the hauling rotation. So
Yeah, I would not put it in as a CDL driver.
Nope.
I'll tell you, some of these drivers, they don't even know how to back the truck.
No, but we just wanna be able to hire soon enough that he's trained,
Right.
so that they're useful by the time that date.
And we'll add a man to the water side too. Right, because if you take the construction, take the guy that's gonna do all the maintenance.
That's correct.
He'll be pulled out, so then we're gonna have to fill that position.
Most likely, that we probably have interested people in-house that would.
Yeah.
Well, no, but even if the guy in-house,
That will create one more position.
that's gonna open a position up.
Boy, that's quite a drive out there. That's
Right.
gotta
It's
be
gonna
at
have a
least-
substantial
That's
impact.
gotta be at least a couple, maybe 3 hours round trip,
We're afraid of that. Depending on the weather.
and that's gonna be in
We're
27.
figuring it's at least 50 minutes to the freeway exit that they're headed to.
How do they dump, are we allowed just to back up and dump ourselves? or-
Yeah, they said their dumping lots will be able to accommodate any size vehicle and trailer. So we're looking to get max amount of volume per load.
So are we looking at probably once a day, right?
We're hoping we can get twice.
Twice a day?
We're hoping we can go in the morning and after lunch,
Oh, okay.
depending on the
An
weather.
hour and a half out, an hour and a half back, right?
Yeah, it's tight. We're only speculating. We're just,
Steve, we think it'll probably be after, Steve said it's another 20 to 30 minutes from the exit,
we think so.
each direction.
But you
Yeah,
guys,
so
we don't
you're
know
talking-
we don't know where it's gonna be quite yet, do we? Or
We
do
know, yeah, we know the
Have you guys
site.
rode out there at all and just kinda,
There's nothing really to look at yet. And then everything's different when you're hauling 8% solids. You're not driving 65 like you would.
right?
And
And then
then the
depending on the
road-
weather conditions too, so you might only get one load a day.
Right.
In the weather, in the winter.
Shouldn't be too bad, that road's pretty good, but you don't wanna shoot a hole in your,
It's the MagCore.
It's north of Madcore, but yeah, out there past Gold
about the
Valley.
same place.
You have to take a lunch with you.
Yeah.
So,
That's a ways out there.
there is one thing that, Tooele City did, cause they were hauling out there by Dugway at that, reservation landfill. They hired a contractor, and all they did is they came and picked up the trailer, took it out, dumped it. And I don't know what that saved them, but when you think about a guy tied up in a truck for 3 hours, he's not very useful, and you're talking about 2 loads a day for 5 days, or 4 days a week.
Yeah, if it's 2 days, if it's 2 loads a day, then we can probably do it in 3. It just depends on process.
But I mean, so over
If
the
it's
weekend,
one load a day, it's
Then it's every day,
every day for sure.
every day.
right? There's
That's four loads a week then,
well, it's 7 loads a week.
7 loads.
That's what we produce, is 7 loads a week.
I mean, isn't that in a 4-day week?
So we produce 1 truckload every day,
Right,
and we're hoping that we can potentially haul out 2 loads a day, which would be 8. So we can, in 4 days, haul out everything we produce.
okay. And then that Monday is probably pretty full up then, huh?
Right.
Okay,
Yeah, because obviously we don't haul on the weekends
right.
or Fridays.
Well, I just wondered if that's what they did, and I knew the guy that was doing that, but he had a heart attack and died, but he had 2 trucks, that's all they did, is they picked up and,
They just contract out.
yep.
It is worth mentioning, we are evaluating that. Prior to, well, there was a time where we were hiring out the solids handling back in the day. So we're looking at that. The other thing I want to mention that we're also investigating is what do we do in the event of an incident? If we're 2 hours away, do we pull the mechanic? Do we look at some type of roadside assistance maintenance program? Because if we get a flat tire 2 hours away, and the mechanics are on a job, that's something we're also evaluating.
So what if we did, probably be better, what if we did roadside assistance, contract that out?
Something like that.
That's expensive,
Mm-hmm.
because they're not always on,
You might be there-
availability is
You might be
really,
there 8 hours waiting.
well, at least a couple hours. I've had tire service, the blue one down in Spanish Fork, and it was probably 4 hours before I got going. But, anyway, back to what you're talking about, I can see the guy's gonna be spending a lot of time in the truck. He's not gonna be very useful if he's doing that, but you're gonna have 2 trucks on the road. Or you can do one truck,
Just one.
Yeah, we'll just have one truck on the road.
trailers and one truck, right?
We're, it's tough. So we need one truck and trailer at the plant to waste into. We need one truck and trailer over the road. And then they'll just swap.
So you're loading, in order to load that trailer, you've got the truck underneath it in order to load it? Okay.
Right.
So
What
when
kind
that
of
rolls
loads
out,
what kind of gross load are we hauling?
They're 130,000 pounds.
Well, I know what the truck's licensed for, but what actual load?
No, that's the pounds.
Is that much?
Mm-hmm.
We need to get more water out of the damn thing, because we're hauling how much water?
We're
50% water?
Yeah, 88% solids, 12% water.
12% water, so?
So,
So I'm not sure contract now is gonna save the same money. I mean, it will, in one regard, because that MBI, they're hauling a lot of material out from the recycle places. And I pass them all the time, and now they're hauling doubles.
so you know what I got thinking about that, when you say that, it doesn't look like it's saved much, but when you think about, what about the breakdown? They'd be liable for the break, and it wouldn't come back on us.
No, it wouldn't come back on us.
They would haul our, you know,
Our waste is somewhat of a liability.
Class B solids weight.
Yeah, so it is. If he spilled it or gotten a wreck or something, we
but
could kind of be liable.
don't we have a deal, we sign a deal saying that we would be liable if they,
If we hauled it out, that's maybe an option.
okay.
If-
No, I'm just trying to figure that out, because I was just thinking, and I'm just, that might be a business to get into, buy the trailers and just haul it out, contract out, right? And then we wouldn't have to buy a trailer, we wouldn't have to buy.
I think the main few points we want to communicate is, this is a really large impact on the district and the wastewater, and we're evaluating all of our options, and we just want to be transparent in
Who hauls
communication.
now? Who hauls over to,
We do a rotation.
oh, everybody
So
takes a turn?
Each guy goes for a month at a time,
Oh, wow, okay.
and then we'll just throw this new guy right into that rotation. He'll shadow one of the new guys potentially to see the site and get comfortable, and then we'll be off to the races.
So there wouldn't be a guy that would just wanna do it, just one of your guys would want that as their job every day?
I don't know that they would. It's one way that we've been able to alleviate burnout, is we have a good rotation.
In my opinion, where you're going that far out on this new site, I would say you stay to a guy. You have got to have, you're now interfacing with the public. You're not going down a back road. You're interfacing on I-80, and it's not our driver, it's the idiots that are out there right now.
Right.
And so where you're going out I-80 to Tempe, and then you're going out north, I don't worry about that road. There's not very many people going that road.
So what you're saying, you wouldn't wanna rotate the driver, you'd want.
I wouldn't, because I think you need a guy savvy to the road. I really do.
That knows the area.
If you're talking that much, well, you gotta stay in tune with that crazy drivers are out there, that's all I'm saying.
Yeah, I think if the guys do it for a month at a time for 20 years, they get pretty comfortable.
Yeah. But I'm just saying, if you rotate, now you're talking about, I don't know, that's, got different skills and different skill levels and stuff, and it's gonna be a lot different, so.
Right.
Either we'll have to look at contracting out. I'm gonna talk to a couple guys that are in the trucking business and see
Sure.
what they say.
That'd be
And-
great.
And then, or a dedicated guy as well.
Yeah, cause if we contract that, we wouldn't have to hire another person, and we wouldn't have to pay benefits, and retirement, cause that comes all with a cost.
Now, what's our coverage down at the sewer treatment plant right now
As far as,
on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday?
we've got an on-call operator that comes in, and he's there for about 3 hours a day, Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
We might run into trouble with contracting just because of the union contract. We just have to see how we handle that.
Well, if you're contracting a service for a delivery, I think you could qualify that, but he could also pick up on Friday too if you wanted,
Right.
so
Just
that
have to
that would be.
Oh, yes, and you could, so a contractor could pick it
Yeah.
up on Fridays.
The variable is going to be the winter. I think we need to be mentally prepared for there being days where we can't haul. So,
Yeah, I can attest to that. I drove truck for a while.
Okay.
But yeah, those positions are in this budget, so.
Okay, great, okay.
Okay, anything else on staffing? I think other than that, no changes. Any other things that the staff wants to highlight?
That public system water fee that will be coming up,
Yeah,
we've
that's-
recognized
That's it.
in this budget also.
Is that a way for the county to capture more money?
Division of
For the,
drinking
yeah,
water.
the drinking water,
Division of drinking water fee, we'll evaluate that as part of our rate study also, whether it, comes out of our operating budget or if we're getting that back through rates. So,
Okay.
that was proposed.
I think that's all from our end unless the board has any
You know
more
what, I'm gonna tell you
questions.
something, this has been very impressive today, where I don't feel like I'm being all stressed out and have to make all these big decisions, and
Good.
I would prefer on out to have like this, and then it's just,
Great.
then that way we actually can wrap everything around it. I don't know how you two feel about
I
it.
think it's really nice.
Okay,
Very
good. I agree.
So we have to adopt this, right?
So what we need, is to adopt the resolution and also make sure that you're indicating that we have a public hearing on November 13th at 10 a.m.
13?
Yeah,
If
right
that's,
here.
that, if you have the resolution in front of you,
Right, here it is.
Okay.
you could do number 2 and 3, and be okay.
To be clear, you want me to get that changed for the additional vehicle prior to the final budget?
Yes, please.
so just
Do I have-
along those same lines, would we call out adjusting the office landscape cost based on cost estimate?
Yes.
Okay.
I think that'd probably be great to do. Are you okay with that? I think so. You okay with that?
Yes.
Okay. Are you all
I
right
just-
with that?
Yeah, I just have notification,
I think
notes
we
to
would-
change about 4 or 5 things.
Yeah, I would.
Is that gonna give you enough time?
And I think we would look at, we might have to pull funds from the cameraman
Sure.
to do that. We'll look at that.
Okay.
Well,
Or other projects we can look at to tweak. So, I saw a few things that, that we might be able to dial down, like on the AC. We might be able to cut that budget a little bit if we get more information. There's a few things
I
we
don't
have.
think you'll spend that much on that, but
Yeah.
I'd like to make a suggestion. What do we anticipate we're gonna spend on the camera truck in the next 2 years if we push it out? Because these things you guys will bring up, I think, are way more important than that, replacing the camera truck myself.
Yeah.
But how much are we gonna spend if we
Yeah.
upgrade that?
We can look at the
Yeah, we can look at the
trajectory
trend
and see if it has
I mean,
been
if we're
continued.
talking $12,000 and we push it out and we'll give you some money to get this other stuff, I think that's a good trade. To spend $12,000 instead of the $235
Yeah.
Yeah.
and then get these extra.
does the
truck
camera,
money.
we don't know if the camera needs any, right, as now, we're good.
We're good on maintenance.
Okay.
Preventative maintenance.
Okay, we'll take that approach.
So
Okay.
adopting the resolution.
So, Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion to approve the resolution 2025-08, adoption of the district's tentative 2026 budget. And the next budget hearing, will be November 13th at 10 a.m.
I'll second that.
In motion second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay.
I think there's a little bit of lunch in there for you.
If we make any changes, Leal, any additions we make to this one, could we highlight them or bold them or anything? So-
Yes, so for
Because
the
there's not very
November meeting, we'll provide something similar to this. And any changes that we make from this to that, we'll highlight.
Yeah, just our stuff gets highlighted.
Exactly. It just makes it easier.
There's only a
for
couple
discussion.
things, I think 3 things.
Yeah, so we'll highlight the changes and then at that meeting, will indicate publicly it's, the tentative's been changed, da-da-da, so. We can go ahead with letter G, Chairman, if you'd like.
Oh, okay, just, we're going to close.
Yeah, when you make that motion.
Well, we gotta make a motion for,
Yeah.
To go into close.
yeah.
Yeah.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion to take a brief recess immediately following meeting, closed meeting, to discuss character, professional competence, and physical or mental health of an individual, collective bargaining purposes pursuant to Utah Code 52-4-204 through 205.
Second that.
Been motion second, all in favor?
Aye.
So I've got a question on this. Do we?
11:30.
11. Okay, we're in, someone want to make a motion to open the open? Open the closed?
Close the close and open the open.
Yeah, close the closed.
12:29. Mr. Chairman, make a motion to close the closed meeting and reopen a public board meeting.
I'll second that.
Been motion second, all in favor?
Aye. Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion to adjourn.
Second that.
Been motion second, all in favor? All right,
It's got some pretty good stuff in it.
yeah, take that one.